What up? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, good people? It is good to be back at home.
Yep.
It is good to be back at home, man. We have been on the go. Man, it seemed like all summer.
Yep.
But
The entire month of June, a
yeah,
good bit of July,
it's good to be back, man.
and
It is.
started off August on the road.
It's something about taking a shower in your own shower that just make a difference.
Yes.
It make a difference.
Yes.
Hey, thank y'all for joining, tuning in. Please let us know where you're watching from, man. Let us know where you're watching from. Hashtag live and where you are from. Rep your city.
Or hashtag replay. Let us know.
And let us know.
If you're catching the replay.
Let us know. So, I mean, man, we've been doing a lot of traveling, but I promise I'm leaning more and more toward not checking a bag, right? Like that waiting on luggage is just overrated, especially in New Orleans. It just seems like it take 45 minutes to get luggage in New Orleans. I don't know. I don't care if it's Southwest, if it's Delta, if it's American. I don't care if you got a priority tag or whatever. It just seems like it take forever to get luggage.
Yep. Oh, we got Chicago in the house. We got some folks watching from downstairs in our house. Yeah. So to your point there, I see AB just joined us. I watched this amazing couple go all the way out of the country, international travel with a checked bag. And so I am inspired.
You ain't they did. They were out of the country for like 6 days. I am inspired
by the Carters. Shout out to the Carters that showed us that you can travel international for 5 days with a checked bag.
With checked luggage.
With one rolling check.
Man, I don't know if they rolled it and put rubber bands around it or what. I don't know what they did. They need to do a tutorial on that. They did like some Chinese
3 suitcases
packing.
And these jokers had 2 carry-on bags.
2 carry-on.
For an international trip.
I mean, yeah, out the country, passport stamp.
Yeah, so you guys have inspired us. She say, and they had some room in the bag. So you've inspired us to do much better. I really tried. We had to go. We went in. Shout out to my guy Quest. We went and celebrated him this past weekend for his 50th birthday party in Charlotte. And then we hopped right on a flight right after that and headed over to Chicago for an amazing conference. And I actually was able to get all of my stuff, AB, into a carry-on bag.
Yeah.
And the thing, that wives, sometimes get most frustrated about is the thought processes of our husbands. I don't know. Maybe that should be the topic for today. Who knows?
Okay.
But I don't want to talk about that. No, I don't want to get into that on here. But Lemoyne packs 3 suits.
Yeah.
And some other randomness. And then proceeds on the first day to not wear one of them suits. And I was HOTT hot because we could have both had carry-on luggage only. But he needed to pack an extra large suitcase because he wanted to pack 3 double-breasted suits.
Man,
and I couldn't quite understand why was that even necessary for where it was that we was going. But for him to get up the first day and not put on one of these suits, and it was the reason why we had to check a bag. My God.
But listen,
talk about hot. Don't them husbands just be doing?
No. So here's the deal. Check this out. Here's wives. You got to know what your influence is. So we packed all in one suitcase, and then she said, I don't know if this is gonna work. So I'm putting all my stuff in the bag or whatever. So here's so we get there, I hang my suits up in the closet, and she was like, man, you brung like 3 full-blown suits. And I'm like, yeah,
it wasn't even that type of party, man.
So it was a financial conference, right?
It
financial
was, but
conference.
The attire was business.
I didn't read
casual.
that. I didn't read that. But here's the deal:
Ain't nothing casual about a suit.
When she said that, I immediately was like, dang, she think I'm gonna be like overdressed. So no, now I'm feeling
that wasn't the point. You needed to wear all of those double-breasted suits because you had packed
I don't
them
wear
and
double-breasted suits. I don't do that. I don't wear double-breasted suits.
It was a 3-piece suit.
It was a 2-piece.
The shirt counts as a piece.
No, it doesn't, because that's interchangeable.
The shirt came with the suit.
No, those are 4 independent shirts that I put with
Continue
them.
on.
Yeah,
with your
I'm just saying,
please.
here's the deal. You gotta know that your words influence, right? So when you say that, now I'm thinking like, dang,
Well,
okay,
I asked
am I
why was
out?
you packing suits before we left the house?
But because it's a financial conference. And then the
Business
party that we went to
casual.
was like grown and sexy. So I was like, okay, well,
That was on
I
Saturday.
really don't know what, like, I need to just,
Shonda, he didn't know what grown and sexy was.
yeah,
apparently.
like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
So I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So when she says this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, dang, maybe I'm doing too much. So now I just put on my
Look
little
at
polo
here.
shirt and
The
my
one
little,
little man
you know,
in the chat gonna talk about some fair.
Hey.
I hope you talking about it's fair for me, because it's not fair for
man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was just, I'm like, bruh, what's the deal? So then when I attempt to wear the same thing to the evening event, right? We have like a meet and greet. She
Go
said,
ahead. I'm gonna shame you right here on the live and tell you what I thought about what you had on all day that you was gonna wear to the dinner. Now we going to a dinner.
Yeah, to a dinner. But
you wanted to wear them same street clothes you had on all day.
I did. You know what I'm saying? I did. Because
the booty of his pants was hanging down to his knees. These pants didn't fit. I'm talking about at all. I mean, look the hot mess. Man, the belt he had on was too big.
I'm so losing a little weight.
He was constantly pulling his pants up the whole time. This was the outfit that he was gonna wear to a dinner.
Yeah.
Okay.
To
a dinner, and he had three-piece suits in his luggage. That's all I have to say. That's not fair at all.
She didn't confirm like, man, these suits look good. She didn't say these look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I can't wait to see you, rock one of these. Like, that's fresh. She didn't say that. She said you brung 3 full-blown suits.
And you wore this.
You know how somebody say I was full-blown sick. You got 3 full-blown suits. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, man, that you don't put them type of descriptive words on there because you are.
Those words were there because I wanted to check. I did not want to check bags. I wanted to just.
But we were there then. We were there. We were already made.
You needed to go all the way through with the process. That means that you should have wore every suit that you packed.
But we went through 2 airports already. We went from New Orleans to Charlotte, from Charlotte to Chicago.
Nevertheless,
you mentioned it.
Nevertheless, the point of the matter is that you had on some dusty looking clothes for the first day of that conference.
Man,
and you had 3 amazingly nice suits.
Okay, that's the first time I heard that.
Well, first of all, if the suits look bad, I would have told you they look bad. That's why I asked you 3 times, why do you still have on this outfit?
That she was like,
okay, am I the only wife that when the wife asked the husband the question, what does that really mean? Please help us.
Yeah, please, y'all talk to us.
When the wife asked you something 3 times, well, I was trying not to hurt your feelings, is what I was trying to do.
Well, look at where we are.
You did it to yourself.
Look at where we are.
You brought this up. But what I'm saying is, when a wife asks a husband, you gonna wear that? Please, y'all tell the husbands what that mean. It means change, but they gonna tell you in the comments.
Apparently,
it means change your clothes right now.
Man, I'm just saying because apparently that's what it means. But I'm just used to you be like, hey, bro, that ain't really it. You know what I'm saying?
I also try to do this thing of self-discovery. I try to let you make self-discovery because I don't want to just tell you flat out, go change your clothes. These look bad. But instead, I just ask some self-discovering questions.
If you don't tell me, who go tell me?
All right. So that day wasn't the day. I was trying to help you to self-discover, and it didn't work.
Husbands, it means please change now.
Yes.
Now. Okay.
Now. I knew y'all was gonna tell him
15 years in, I guess I'm learning. I but I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, because I
am a direct communicator.
Yeah, I feel self-conscious.
Typically,
I just wasn't sure.
I will directly say, but when it comes to clothes, and all this kind of stuff, I know he's a little finicky, about his outfits and stuff and whatnot. So I try to tread lightly because I know that's an area, where sometimes you could be a little sensitive. So instead of me saying, hey, what you got on right now don't look all that great, I was trying to let you self-discover into the 3 suits that you had packed.
But what if I feel good in it? What if I just feel good?
I wasn't gonna let you leave. I was just trying to softly let you change clothes.
That's what it is.
But I was not gonna let you go there. Especially, I'm the t-shirt and jeans chick, and I had on way better looking clothes than what you had on at the time.
Well, you always,
No, that's not the case.
You be fresh. I ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Anyway, we done went there for 13 minutes, but it's very clear that when we ask you a question, it means change your clothes.
It means change.
All caps now.
Now, okay, all right.
Yes.
If everybody in agreement with that, then hey, then I'm learning something new. I'm learning what I'm learning is cementing the thoughts in my
See
mind.
that Joel said I took some clothes to Antigua that I
Yeah.
didn't wear, and his wife had the same reaction.
Well, I mean, I'd rather
No,
be
I'm
comfortable.
so serious,
Yeah.
man. Like I've only packed what I needed. Lemoyne
Yeah.
packed at least 3 outfits for each day, which I felt like was a little overkill.
Because we didn't. It was a professional conference. We had an all white party. It was also
all white parties or outfit. Yes.
Yeah, the all
The
white.
rest of the days we could have wore whatever we wore to the conference. We could have wore.
But we were
going.
We were in 2 different cities. Like we flew to
the
Charlotte.
Night
Yeah.
In Charlotte.
And then we had to wear a pair of clothes to travel. Then had to wear outfit for the night for the party. Get up the next day, you had to wear outfit to the
Your friend
airport.
Emmett agree with you.
Yeah, to the airport, and then from the airport, I changed to. Did I change? I think I changed into something to kind of go for the first thing, and then Miami too. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like
okay,
as a whole, like
don't be trying to help your friends. See what I'm saying? When the men come in the chat, they be trying to help you. Okay. See that? Okay.
Man, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm gonna get a suit, a hang bag that can be a carry on.
I'm fine. You can carry that all through the airport if you like, but I'm not gonna be running through no airport with no suit bag. You're gonna get left. I will tell them hold the doors open and see what happened. But it's a roller bag. We are trying to figure out how to champion in the traveling lane with a carry-on bag, just a roller carry-on.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that because sometimes going through, you ride first class, so you the first people off the plane,
and then you gotta wait 72 minutes on the bag.
Right. We could have had the car. Right. We could have had the car.
We could have been at home for a whole hour. I'm just saying that my time is valuable to me, and them 3 suits was not worth the bag.
But
that's all I was trying to say.
They weren't. I wouldn't fly.
Did you wear all 3 of them suits?
I wore 2.
I
wore 2.
You look nice in the 2 suits that you wore.
Thank you. Was it worth it?
All I ask is that.
Were you okay with being on my side?
After you change clothes, yes.
Yeah, okay. That's all.
Before you change clothes, matter of fact, that outfit you should probably not repeat.
Help us, Jesus. Help us. She's trying to take my clothes.
All right, we live. I'm so glad y'all joined us tonight. We have a serious topic of some point, you know what I'm saying, that we're gonna talk about. Clearly there has to be a icebreaker or something, whatever you want to call it. Man. This is it. I think that the women will agree with me to say if you're gonna pack all them clothes,
fair or foul,
wear them, or at least if you're gonna go to a dinner, then wear some dinner like clothes. That's all I'm saying.
But at least let me know that you think that it look fly. Don't you know what I'm saying? Like you can just be like, hey, you got something better to wear in there, or or something.
Okay,
like.
I'll start telling you. That suit looks really nice.
Thank you.
In the suitcase.
There it is. However we want to paint it, then I'll know to take it out.
Jeez. All right. So glad y'all joined us and sat with us through that.
Yep.
That was 16 minutes of traveling talk.
Yeah.
Glad to be back at home.
Like and share. Let us know where you're watching from.
All of that good stuff. Yeah. So this summer is finally coming to a close. Not the heat. We still in the heat part of it, but I mean, as it relates to the travel pieces, we done. So thank God we are.
I feel like I'm on that movie where the dude Raheem was walking around with the big boom box. They were in New York, and the guy Spike Lee worked at the pizza place. Y'all know the name of that movie? And they put the ice. They was hot in the apartment.
Nope.
And they was, do the right thing.
What about
do the right thing? That's what I feel like. Like it'd be just so hot that you just want to put ice, you know what I'm saying, on your face.
Well, you could cold plunge. That will give you.
Yeah.
Give you what you need.
I'm okay with it, but we gotta make some adjustments.
Look at that. You got a friend in the chat, Shonda.
Do the right thing. There it is.
Okay, so I gave you some topics. You can choose whatever it is.
You jump it off.
Nope.
Well, hey, all right. I've been having some aha moments, right?
Good for you.
And it's really more, self-discovery, right? And it's more, this I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about nobody else. If it's reflective of you, then it is what it is. But I'm talking about me. So a few years ago, Crystal challenged me to something. we were talking about racing and lifting weights and all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And she challenged me. And I was like, but she was working out. She was in the gym, like, bam, like every morning. I was like, Crystal, even on your like best day, you could work out for however long you want to. You're not gonna beat me running. Like, that's just what it is. And this is true. This holds true, right? She's not. Unless I'm handicapped or something like that. She's just not going to beat me running.
Do you have an actual point that you're
getting
leading
there.
into?
I'm getting
because
there,
right now, number one, you have offended me. But go ahead.
Okay. Well,
don't worry about it, because after this podcast, we can go out and run.
Well, I'm 40 yards.
No. We don't have to do 40 yards.
You want a Forrest Gump.
You only want to run the races of which you know for certain that you don't.
Okay, well, what race you want to run?
Even the playing field.
What race you want to run?
We can do 400 yards.
We can do 400.
Guarantee you won't beat me.
Okay.
Continue your story.
Hey, B, I'll take that challenge unless you're saying you'll beat Crystal. Because
finish your story, because apparently you was going somewhere. But what I'm telling you right now is the space of which you got to currently, it ain't working for you people.
Hey, it is what it is. I don't.
All right. So you started with this possibility that you might run a race against me. Whatever.
So here's the deal. So she challenges me. I beat her. I backpedal. Right. Whatever, right? I'm talking about we racing. I turn around, I backpedal. Then she says,
"You did not." Y'all, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Love and Business. This has been a fantastic Thursday. We hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Good night and thank you.
Okay.
You backpedaled on me in a 40-yard dash?
Yeah, I did. In the street.
Put that on your mama.
I put that on my mama. I put that on my grandmother. I put that on my daughters. You know it just like I know it.
Y'all. You know what I really want to do right now? You know how they you know how TV used to end and you just had like the rainbow colors on the screen? I swear, if I had that option right now, I would put that on here, because Lemoyne just lied on my children.
Man, listen.
You backpedaled on me?
Crystal, I didn't say I backpedaled the whole race. I got so far in front of you that I
for a 40-yard dash.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's the point. Are you serious?
Apparently, I must be hallucinating.
Are you serious?
Because this cannot be happening on a live video.
Let me go to the
finish the story, because it has gotten so far off away from whatever it is that you want to talk about.
We will do this evening if she up for it. I'm game for it, because it ain't no big deal.
Lemoyne, I will smoke a pack of cigarettes and beat you.
Okay, sound like we raised the night then. It sound like we
raised the night. I ain't never smoked a cigarette a day in my life. I will smoke a pack of Marlboro.
Y'all, if y'all want to see this race, put a 1 in the chat, because I'm just saying. And if you got your money, I ain't gonna say bet on me, because I don't want anybody to.
Y'all, I'm crying.
I don't want anybody to take sides, but I'm gonna let the eye in the sky don't lie. That's that camera.
We can take the camera that we own right now outside. Forget talking about whatever we forget love and business.
This is love. This is love right here, because
there is much less love inside of this podcast tonight than there has ever been.
Because here's what happened. Crystal challenged me.
He don't even have a valid point.
Yes, I do. Here's the point. Crystal challenged me. So after the race, I say, Crystal, you cannot. That's not it. You can work out. You can go in the gym as much as you want to. And I make the statement, I could do 500 pounds on the squat right now. She says, well, do it. Do it. Right now, let me keep y'all in mind. We were on our way into the movie theater.
No. We were supposed to go to the movies.
That's what I'm saying. No, we was in the parking lot.
The date.
We was in the parking lot. We wasn't
in the movies.
No, we was in the parking lot of the movie theater, walking up to the ticket office, and then we said, well, let's go and do it right now. The same energy that you putting out right now is the energy that you had then.
So if you still on here, go find me a pack of cigarettes. I'm gonna smoke a pack of cigarettes and still be
you go get some smoke, all right, but you ain't got to have no cigarettes.
Okay. Right.
So here's what happened. We go to the house, we race, right? I do just what I said I just did, and I'll do it again this evening. It's totally fine with me. Or tomorrow, however she want to do it. I'm gonna let her call the terms. So I even gave her the go on that. It wasn't even on your mark, get set, go. I said, when you go, I'm ready. Let's go. So here's the point.
Nobody asked you for a handicap.
Here's the point. Here's the point. So she then says, I say, hey, yeah, man, I could do 500 on the squat right now. Like, I can do this. Just because I don't mean that I can't, right? So she challenges me. She says, let's go to the gym right now. I did kind of flutter a little bit. I'm like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But she was like, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Go to the gym.
Were you allergic to the gym? What was that?
Was I allergic to the gym?
You don't know about going to the gym.
Oh yeah, no, because I thought I had let my alligator mouth, you know what I'm saying, overload my lizard tail. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't 100% sure. I felt like I could, but I wasn't 100% sure. So then when she called me out on it, I was like, okay, bet. Because again, wives have power in their words.
Oh,
so
Lord. I bet all of y'all on here is currently wondering how are they even in love and or business.
So we go to the gym, right? We're both competitors to a certain degree, but I want to get to my point. So we go to the gym,
Baptist
and I put 500 on the rack. All right.
$500.
No, okay. Did I do $500 or 500 pounds?
I don't know. It's your story. I was just trying to see what you was gonna say because
you were there.
I don't know how much more of it you done added into it.
Okay, well you were there, right? Did I not do it?
Do what?
The 500 on the squat. Did I not squat 500 pounds?
It wasn't free. It wasn't free squat.
Did I squat was 500 pounds on the rack, on the bar?
It was on the bar.
Did I put it on my back and step away from the rack?
Well, it wasn't that type of rack. It was.
Did I put it on the rack and step away from it? Was it supported by my back or was it supported by the rack?
Yeah, you put it on your back.
And did I squat and break past?
Why are you asking me questions like I'm in an interrogation mode?
Because you saying it like I didn't do it, like you weren't there. So I'm saying, okay, so I did the 500 pound. I did the 500. Got up with it, racked it, whatever. My point is, this is your story. Love y'all. All right. So the point is, I did the 500 pounds, and I thought that was the pinnacle, because I was able to do it after not having worked out for a substantial amount of time.
Correct.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. You know, so Crystal even deemed it from the couch to 500 or something like that. I don't know. It may even be a video out there on Facebook. I know I have it recorded on my phone. I don't know how far back it is, but
I'm sure you saved it.
Well, you recorded it. So, but nonetheless, my point that I'm making is like, that was the mark, but that wasn't what helped me right throughout, you know, just now in business, or when you're talking about like persevering or doing the actual work. Just because I was able to do 500 pounds one time, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the standard that we march to. That I don't know if that's what best serves us, because the work in between that is what serves us. If I could get off the couch and do 500 pounds, then what does that look like if I go to the gym and I work out? Right? What does that look like? Or what does it look like if I consistently do something in business just because I know that I can do it and I'm good at doing it, but I only do it when necessary? That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best way to be, but because that's the standard that I measured it by, to say, hey, most people can't do 500 pounds, or most people can't do this certain activity, you know, just at the drop of a hat or the snap of a finger. Most people can't execute that, but because I can, now I rest, right? And that's what happened. I rest, right? But that's not what makes you great. That's not what makes you better. That's not what pulls the internal work out of you, right? So that's what I was saying. I rose to the challenge for a moment, was able to do it, but then got mentally satisfied with the result of that, but not the result of doing the work. You know what I mean? And that's the part where I feel like now in life, I can see where there's been hiccups, where that perseverance or actually doing the work and not just necessarily getting to the goal has stifled me, so to speak, and not necessarily serve me in the highest capacity. I know you were telling me about something that you were listening to the other day that said, hey, the gentleman said he doesn't make goals, he has standards and expectations. Right. For his day or whatever it may be.
No, just in general. Just in life. Like right. He said, I no longer set goals. I set standards and expectations. And, you know, I mean, if the goal is to get off the sofa and, you know, squat 500 pounds one time, you know, whoop to do. But, you know, for me, I think I was a bit agitated, you know, in the thought of it. It was like, you wanted to legit quit. Like, it was almost like, like a field day. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go do a 40-yard dash. All right, let's do 50 push-ups. All right, let's go, squat 500 at the gym, and then boom, that's the end of the journey. When the actuality was like, yeah, all right, now let's do that 10 more times. If you know what I'm saying, if you really have championed, this particular category, like you was like, oh, nah, I'm good.
And I
was like, I was good, man, look at this right here. The proof in it is that what can you consistently do? I knew that if I got you under that rack more than 3-4 times, you was gonna crumple under that 500 pounds.
Yeah.
But in the heyday, 500, that was a regular rep for you. You know what I'm saying? Or running a 40, that was like, hey, we got to do this at least 10 times at football practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I knew that I was at that point, and this was I don't know, this was like 6 or so years ago. I don't know how long it was. It
wasn't yesterday.
No, it was several years ago. Case in point, though, apparently we got to go back out here and run this 40-yard dash so he can attempt to backpedal. But I digress. The deal was, at that time frame, I was agitated, because I knew that Lemoyne was setting the standard to say if I could do it one time, then I'm a champ, and that's not. I knew that that's what it wasn't the deal. I wanted him to see that he needed consistency. Now, mind you, this was most definitely an unhealthy way for us to,
get to this point.
To get to that point. But nonetheless, we were, a little bit less mature than we are today, smoking a 12-pack of cigarettes. But
I think they come at 24.
I wouldn't even know because I would probably pass out from an asthma attack or something before I finished the first one. But
agreed.
The thing that I was trying to get him to see was that it was more important to be able to consistently do a thing, than to just have this, a participation award, because I know, like right now, if our girls participate in a sport or something, and, just because they went, down the field and back one time, somebody give them a certificate, I know as a dad, he gonna be hot as fish grease because he know, what I'm saying, that they didn't do nothing to earn that.
100%.
Right. But, it's funny how when it comes to us, as individuals, then, we try to hide behind these, these fake standards or expectations instead of being real with ourselves as to, where we really stand, because to us, if we go out and we do something like that, because of course we were both, she said, how does what grease? Fish grease. Yes, because fish grease
and a black family reunion. Yeah.
Your grease got to be real hot if you're gonna find some good catfish. But the goal and objective was for us to have, high standards, high values, high morals, not, not just to step out and look away, you know what I'm saying, but to actually be, the thing that we were, portraying to be external.
And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like the be, do, have that I mentioned like a week or so ago. Like I was okay with the having, but not necessarily the being, right? When you be or you become, your being changes, which creates you or makes you do something different, and then you have something different. But because I felt like I had already reached the have that was set for most people in the average Joe, right? Because again, the average person can't do that, or you may say the average person doesn't make the amount of money that you make, or they can't do exactly what you do from a skill set or whatever it may be. But that doesn't mean that you're the best or you're being the best at it that you can be. Or what is it? What is the process that we skipping out on when we're not becoming or we're not being that person? Because when things get a little bit more challenging, which I've experienced, then the mental fortitude is not necessarily all the way there, and you have to lean on. I know I lean a lot to you and your mental fortitude and your thoughts to help guide me through on some things, versus having that within myself to say, hey, I've done this, I've been through this, especially alone. I've done some hard things with teams. No doubt about it. I've done some hard things with teams. I'm probably a better team player than I am on a solo mission. It depends on what we're doing. But if I've done some very difficult things with teams. But in this life, when we're going and we're doing things on our own, or I'm running a business and you're running a business, what does it look like for me to be able to really traverse that on the solo? You know what I mean? And I feel like that those are the moments that, hey, if I would have really reached back into that bag and really dug deep to say, hey, look, here's the expectation and here's the standard, right? Scratch the goal, because once you reach the goal, now what? Once you reach the goal, do you quit, or does the standard and the expectation still stay the same, or do you increase the goal? Like, what does that look like, right? Because we'll hit goals if we do the things that it takes to get to it. But the thing that it takes to get to it is what I feel like is most important.
Well, I think that's why I like the guy's quote when he said, don't set goals, but instead set standards and expectations. Because if you set standards and expectations, it doesn't matter whether you hit a goal or not. Those standards will always be the mark. So it's that if I set a standard, to read the word, to study, and to pray every day, I'm not going to just quit just because I did that for 1 week.
Yeah,
it's like, no, the standard is that I do this every day. You know what I'm saying? Not every day in the month of July, but this is my standard for life, for living. And, the thought that came to mind when you were talking is, more so we have to identify what our defaults are. Like what is the base level foundations of our thought processes, our belief systems? Because once we figure out what those things are, then we figure out like what's driving us. And so if it really is just to get the trophy, once you get it, there's no more drive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's no more fire, you know what I'm saying, behind, what it is that you're doing. And that's why I'm like, he put into words for me what I'm able to do for myself every day. Like a lot of people, if they don't have something that they're driving towards, then they're not going anywhere. They just sitting still. When I'm like, no, I want this to be a part of who I am. Like I want this level of consistency to be here, not because I'm trying to hit $1 million mark. I want this consistency to be here because this is what I do. This is who I am. This is how I perform.
Right.
And
that carries over to other things.
If you always have to have a carrot in front of you, you know what I'm saying? Then I don't think there really is any standard, like you're not setting, real expectations for yourself.
Yeah.
But to say, I want to hit a certain number or I want to hit a certain financial goal, then to me, that's a little shallow. It has to be a little bit deeper to who are you as a person? You know what I'm saying? Who are you as an individual? And then, what standards do I have for myself in life? Because you're going to always be chasing a goal.
Yeah.
But if you have a standard, there's no more chasing. You're just being. Yeah.
And the thing is like yeah. And that was the thing. It was like, because the goal was really, I guess in school and sports, it was just to be better than the next person. Especially in powerlifting or anything like that, it was just to be, hey, I just need to beat my competition. Whereas now I'm my competition.
Right. I was about to say, what happens when you don't have any external motivators?
And that's the part. That is the part.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like, I be trying my best, to be, just as conscious, about strengthening my relationship with God, and, trying to hear from him and praying and, studying the word, all that type of stuff. I be trying to do that, like, before anything bad happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How some folks, like, it's like, oh, I'm living for the Lord because everything is on fire.
Right.
It's like, but can we just have a standard of living for the Lord?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that type of deal. So when I think about it, like Joel says, he's wanting to lose 30 pounds versus I eat healthy, every day as a lifestyle type deal. And it's like, we have to be able to just set a standard that I eat healthy every day. Eventually, if 30 pounds was originally what you thought, if you set a health goal of I eat healthy, as a lifestyle, eventually 30 pounds falls off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we do this, I've done it before. We do these rush deals, where we done something in 30 days, 60 days or whatever, and it lasts for a little while, but it's not a lifestyle.
Right.
So, the 30 pounds that you said goodbye to in April, it show right back up in about September because you don't, sooner. Because there's no standard of living,
Right.
So she said, could we give an example of a standard? I think I might have just rambled through those before it's reading your question, but it's exactly what Joel said. Like instead of me setting a goal to say that I want to lose 30 pounds, I need to say that I have a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
I have a healthy eating lifestyle.
So that when you reach the 30 pounds, you're still
going.
You're
You're not stopping, because if you just set the 30-pound goal, you only ate healthy to lose 30 pounds. You did not have a healthy lifestyle. Two totally different things.
So I'll ask you this, because this is another thing that I think trips me up, right? I be wanting to reward myself. You know what I mean? Like if I lose 30 pounds or if I hit the goal, and maybe that's why you shouldn't set goals, because then I'm like, oh, okay, well, bet I can get that.
And the reward is
like a Whopper
or something that's gonna give you 5 of those 30 back.
Yeah, 5 of them 30 back.
That's a reward.
Yeah.
Boy, I be telling you how our brains be working on us. You know, I mean, I know that that's your real truth, but I mean, that's the real truth for everybody, especially if you have a you know, a weight loss goal. You know, then the first thing we want to do as a treat to ourselves, instead of continuing to treat ourselves in a healthy manner, the first thing we want to do is figure out how we can treat ourselves bad.
Right.
It's so weird. She said, why is the reward always food? I don't know, Shonda. And, you know, I think that that's obviously a mindset thing, you know, that we all probably need some help and some attention to. But it's weird that, you know, the very thing that has put us in this place is the thing that we will run back to. And I think it goes back to mindset training and not drifting, you know, for those of you. Culture.
I believe that, because food is a big part of the Black community, just in general. Like we don't necessarily.
I think food is a deal for a lot of people.
Yeah. You know? Well, I'm just saying, I can only speak for the Black community because I'm, Black.
I get that. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I can't
a lot
think
of what we
family
do
gathering
is centered around food.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, what we eating? We barbecuing, we fish fry, or what? It ain't never just been like, hey, let's go out and play some volleyball.
Yeah.
And have a family gathering, I don't know, but I don't know why. I guess that's why the reward is always food, or most of the time it is some type of health, health conscious thing. But I don't know. It could be food. Because that's probably what you was abstaining from.
For what?
I'm just saying, just in general, because most of the time it may be health, or it could be a splurge on something though. Yeah, it could be a splurge on something. You get X amount of dollars and you like, oh, okay, well, bet I'm about to go and buy this, or you hit the mark and now you just like. I can remember like a time where I hit a mark in my agency in the business. We had numbers that I projected numbers that we wanted to hit. I hit them. And then I coasted for the rest of the year, right? As an agency, I wasn't pressing the team or anything, but we paid for that next year. Like because it was everything was cool for now. And then when January came back around, the board is erased clean, and now you got to start back over, but you have no momentum.
Yeah, so that I think that speaks to Chandrika when she asked, could we give an example of the standard? Like, so we can use a real life example. Like he just said, as a State Farm agent, typically agents are going to set goals. You set goals, they'll give us, free trips, stuff like that, depending on how many, how much business that you write, in a calendar year. And, that's all well and fine. But what I think is dangerous about that is then we write policies to hit the goal to go to, like, next year's trip is, they said exotic is Bora Bora, right. And the regular trip is Hawaii. Yeah. And so if I'm now an insurance agent that's writing policies to get to Hawaii or Bora Bora, technically I'm not really motivated, 100% to do that, because I can't pay for myself to go there. Now, don't get me wrong, it would be great to be able to go there for free, right? But if I set a goal to say that I want to go there, if next year the trip is somewhere where I don't want to go, then I might not even care much to write much business next year. It's just like, oh, well, I made enough money this year, I'm good. But if I set a standard to say that it's my goal and objective, to close the wealth gap in my community and to serve as many people as I know how, and explain the importance of, being properly covered as often as I possibly can, then every time I have a conversation with somebody, if it comes up or even if it doesn't come up, if that's my primary standard to have those types of conversations, then I'm going to make sure that when I'm having a conversation and I see a family in front of me, a husband and wife, and they got, 3 kids or whatever, at some point in time, I'm going to introduce the conversation about legacy building. Yeah. I'm going to introduce in that conversation about why it's important to be properly covered. I may ask, some questions about what do you have set up for, your children, or what's your financial goals as it relates to retirement or your life insurance policies, whatever. I'm going to have some type of conversation with them if I've set a standard to make sure that I'm helping to close the wealth gap in my community, right? That's a totally different headspace than saying every year I want to make sure I write 100 life insurance policies. Because at that point, I don't care whether life insurance policies stay or not. I'm just writing them because it's a number. I'm not even caring, you know what I'm saying, if a policy that I wrote in January is still on the books in November.
Right.
So setting the standard is, if I wrote a policy in January of 2023, in January of 2024, I'm calling back, especially if they wrote a term policy and I'm saying, hey, I noticed that you still have this term policy. Has anything changed, with your family or in your life to where we can have a different conversation to see if we can convert this over the whole life? If I legitimately care to, have a standard to service my customers the right way. That's when, when your standard is pushing you and driving you versus some,
arbitrary goal,
a little baby goal. But if I had a standard, I'm servicing the people that are considered my customers in a completely different way. But that's my, that's my take.
I mean, it just seems like, and you guys tell me, but it seems like most of workplaces and even just trainings in general, it always teaches you to have a goal. If that's true for you, let me know. Like, put goals in the thing, or a standard. I mean, goals or standards, like 1 or 2. Like, I've always been told to go, to have a goal. You got to have a goal in mind. Versus, having a standard to make it a common practice. And I do believe that having a standard is what it takes to become the essence of that thing, just like what you were just explaining. Because if that was the true essence or the true passion, then that's exactly how it's going to that's how the information is going to be communicated over, because it's more like, hey, I need to make sure that these policies stay in place. So I want to make sure that everybody is properly insured year after year, time after time. And when you hit the mark, then you're still going toward the same thing. Your behavior doesn't change when you're short on the mark, and it doesn't change it when you're above on the mark. I guess that's a good litmus test, right? Once you get to what the company says, or once you get to a satisfactory number based on the everybody else around you, you'll still be going regardless. Regardless. It's not just a number that's on the wall. It's who you are as a person. It's your being.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that just for the sake of of the conversation, if what is driving us is like super surface level, or just vain in a sense, and clearly they don't last long. It really has to be something that is important to us, like deep down in our core. Like, it wasn't that like that you wanted to beat me in the 40-yard dash so that you could beat me every day. It was just, hey, I just want you to know I still got it. You know what I'm saying? But do we really? If we set it to a real standard, do we have it? And I don't think that we challenge ourselves to that degree, to ask ourselves those types of questions. It's like, am I doing it? You know what I'm saying? So that people can see me in such a way, or am I doing it because, it's important to me? Like you said, I'll, you said a little while ago, like, I'll look at other people and say, oh, well, I'm just trying to beat the next person. But, for me, my standard as far as I can remember, I'm not necessarily looking outwardly. I'm always trying to figure out, yesterday you got this wrong, and today you have another opportunity to get this right. So I don't necessarily work on external motivators, because I know, that over time they're not going to serve me well. Because for me, that's almost like how ET always says, like, you gotta, the gazelle always has to have something chasing it to run. And I don't want to feel like, if nothing is chasing me, then I'm not running,
right.
what I'm saying, in a direction for something. I got to have, some standards, some morals, and some values that are set so high that I am consistently, moving in a forward direction to achieve those things. But if whatever it is that I've achieved can just happen just because I snap my fingers, I don't really think that I'm doing I'm not doing due service of the time that I have here, just in life, like with the time that I've been given to serve. So I have to figure out, what is the thing that's going to make me tick and move like every single day without having external motivators to get that done.
Man, that's real right there. Because Yeah, you know, this even goes back to like when I would race somebody, I'd say I'm as fast as the next guy, right? Like if I'm running against somebody, I'm like,
How you break world records like that?
that's what I'm saying. Like that's or you got to run against somebody that's super fast, but it's like, how can I pull that out of myself by myself?
I remember when we was watching the Olympics, way back when Usain Bolt had won the 100 meter dash,
Mhm.
and he kind of like toward the end of the race, he was like mocking the people or whatever
Yeah.
behind him.
Uh-huh.
And I remember being so upset by that because I knew then that he wasn't the greatest that he could be in that moment. He was motivated by external forces. Because I'm like, he could have a record, you know what I'm saying, that maybe nobody could beat for decades to come if he would have just stayed focused on the standard of just running, you know what I'm saying, in the direction. But dude probably took off, you know what I'm saying, a good few seconds because, you know what I'm saying, he kind of did a, you know what I'm saying, a look back, put his arms all out. And I'm like, the essence of the sport is to go all the way through the finish line with your head, you know what I'm saying, ducking like your head down, leaning in to make sure you get even more seconds off of that. And I mean, I get it. Everybody was, you know what I'm saying, clapping dude on. Don't get me wrong. Fastest man alive. I get it. But I'm like, man, he could have set a whole nother standard for other people, you know what I'm saying, to come after him and reach. But it's like, man, how many seconds did he take off from not being you know, just zoned in on that thing. Wow. But you looking around at other people, I'm like, I ain't got time for that, man. But the athlete in me was so agitated. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, this dude could have done so much better for himself. You know what I'm saying? Even though he had just broken
world records and everything, but you're just like, man, he could have really
like, man, this dude was playing. I was upset. This is the Olympics. You don't turn around and look at nobody and, you know what I'm saying, laugh and all that. Like, you do that after you cross the finish line, man. But I'm just saying, like, if we could get, you know, locked in on what it is that we should be doing, what we're capable of doing, man, I'm telling you, you don't need being motivated by external forces. Who knows if this Olympics coming up next year, you know, somebody beat his record.
And he retired
by the amount of seconds that, you know what I'm saying, he could have had on the clock if he hadn't been playing.
Yeah.
But that's what it gets you. That's what happens when external forces be motivating.
Man, that's because I mean, real talk. I'm just like, bro, he broke world records. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the distance that he beat everybody else by.
I could kill less. I was boiling.
Man,
I remember it.
Isn't that perspective?
I remember that perspective. And I'm sure the majority of the world was probably like, man, that dude fast. And the only thing I can think about is how many more seconds he could have took off that race had he not been playing like that.
Man, that's a whole.
I'm just saying, man. I that's all I think about. How many opportunities you get, you know, to do something like that. But I think he was more so like, oh, ain't nobody next to me.
Right.
Cruise control.
Everybody.
Cruise control. That's what we do in everyday life. You know what I'm saying? It's like if we have now become, you know, the hot shot in the family, right? Everybody looking at, you know what I'm saying, Joe John over here for, you know, accomplishing 1,000 things in his lifetime, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden plateau. Because it's like, hey, I done hit the pinnacle. But if I'm setting, you know, my standards based off of what other people think of me or, you know, what somebody else did not accomplish, then I feel like I don't get to max out.
I mean, you typically, you don't.
No,
you don't, because if you measuring it by, you know, by somebody else's ability, and then when you top that ability, then you don't max out, because then you start coasting. I'm glad
you brought it full circle, because you did not max out on that 40-yard dash. I wanted you to max out and pass out, running 2 miles, following behind me. Cause I knew 40 yards, absolutely you could get that done. But keep running. Let's see what happens if you keep running.
Yeah, not at that speed.
Most people, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter at any speed. I'm just saying most folks only want to, you know what I'm saying, go to the level of which they feel most comfortable. And that's not how you become, you know, a better person. And that's the whole deal, is that we have to be like Joel says, how do you keep pushing when the external motivation leaves? It's like you never set external motivation as one of your standards. Like you have got to figure out purpose. You know, I think we might have talked about that last week or whatever, but you know, you have to figure out what is it about you that makes you continue to move forward in a direction. Like, it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be, a standard.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, like we talked about, a goal. It needs to be, what is your ultimate purpose and objective, for being here. And I think, for me, that comes with, having conversations with God, or just being more in tune with myself and what feels right and good to me. Because I know that it's difficult for me to go in a direction that doesn't feel natural to me. It doesn't feel good to do something that I know I'm not necessarily called to do or be. And so, when you find something that resonates with you, and with your purpose, I think it becomes much easier to flow, in that direction.
Right.
But the consistency piece, you have to decide that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's
a part of your being.
Yeah.
It really does become a part of, like, who you are, your activities. Because you think about it, like, I was watching this guy on I don't know, on Facebook, maybe a Facebook reel or whatever, but he go around and he cut people grass for free, like overgrown lawns and stuff like that. Of course, he say like and subscribe, and that's probably how he's being compensated, right? But I really think this dude passionate about cutting grass.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so he'll go around and just do it for free. I don't think he's trying to say, okay, well, I'm gonna cut 3 yards today, or I don't know. I don't know what the objective is, but I feel like that's still a part of his purpose, because he's okay with just doing that. Like, if somebody is, somebody that loves English and they just want to learn a different word or something like that every day. Mm-hmm. So they read the dictionary and they want to share it with somebody, or you want to help as many families as you can. So you're like, well, every day I'm gonna make 10 phone calls. Mm-hmm. Every day I'm gonna make 10 phone calls. Whether I transact business or not, or whether somebody wants to talk to me or not, I'm gonna make 10 phone calls. And I'm gonna do that every business day that I'm in the office. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So then, it's really what is the purpose behind it? Is it to help try to eliminate the wealth gap and try to make sure that people are properly insured, or is it am I targeting for a number?
Yeah, and if it's a number, if it's, hey, I'm check the box, I've had 10 conversations today, then I would categorize that as a goal. But again, if we have a standard of having, particular types of conversations,
okay,
then that takes us, a little further. But if I just
talk to as many as you can,
because then it's, hey, I'm gonna have as many conversations as it takes, inside of this window of time, or at least making sure that they're quality conversations. And it's not, all the time that we just want to do those things. It's just we've set a standard, and we've set, a foundation for ourselves that is so heavy that we can't go back on that. And now I think that it's super important that we sit and take time and think about that. Like, why do I have this standard? Why is it important to me? And is this something that I can sustain long term? Because we've gotten, in such a habit of just saying, oh, I'm gonna do X, and then a month later you don't do that anymore. Like, for instance, for us, I can surely say that we have a standard of fasting on Fridays. I know we've talked about it before, on the podcast. The only times that we may not fast on a Friday is if we're on vacation, or something like that, or if there's maybe holiday or a special occasion or something like that, then all right, we may take those off. But for the majority of the year, every Friday we're gonna fast together, and take communion. That's a standard. It's not, what I'm saying, we can go 3 months and be like, all right, man, I guess we're gonna start back up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for us, the standard is there. Like, we know that that's something that we've decided to do. And whether we want to or not, it's just a part of who we are now.
So the goal, if you had to translate that to a goal, it would be like, hey, this is we're trying to do something. We want to buy XYZ, or we want this in the business, or we're looking for this type of blessing. So we're going to fast until it happens. Right. And then when it happens, now you let it go.
Yeah, then you don't fast no more.
Okay. But the standard of it is, hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, we fast as a part of our life.
As a part of life. You're right.
As a part of life.
Right. That might be,
it's not, what I'm saying, it's not that we're fasting to get it, because at this point, what I'm saying, I can't tell you that there's a goal in mind when we fast on Friday.
To just continue.
It's just that we're
sacrifice ourselves.
We're sacrificing ourselves, and what I'm saying, trying to make sure that we're hearing from God, and availing ourselves to whatever it is that He would have us to do.
Okay.
You know, but there is no goal in mind, you know what I'm saying, on Fridays when we fast.
Right.
None. Other than, hey, God, we're presenting ourselves to you. We're fasting, we're praying, we're listening.
Yeah.
That's it, you know. But I can't tell you that, you know what I'm saying, 3 years from now,
That we won't be.
we won't,
that
because we didn't set a goal to
it.
say in 2027 we done.
Right. Or if we get X amount, we done. Like, Lord,
Yeah.
we believe in for this. And once that happened, you know, we
Mm-mm.
want this 1,000-acre ranch.
It's a part of
something,
life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
part of
So
life.
it's just like for me, you know, integrity. That's a part, that's a
Yeah.
standard for me.
Yeah.
It's a part of my life. I'm not saying I'm gonna be, I want to have, you know, high integrity until my kids graduate from high school.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just a standard.
Okay.
So it doesn't
real.
matter
That's
what
real.
it is that I'm doing. If I'm having a conversation with a customer, if I'm talking to you, if I'm talking to a friend, if I'm talking to my kids, you know, it's my goal and objective, because I've set this standard, is to be as truthful with you as I possibly can, whether or not you like the information that I'm giving you or not.
Yeah.
That's a standard. I don't have a goal to tell 10 people the truth a day. It don't work that way for me.
And then everybody else
get lies.
I did 10.
Hey, I done cashed in on my 10 truths.
Okay, that's
so
a good,
here come the rest of the lies.
That's a real perspective, though.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? So for me, those things are just standards.
It's a standard.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't give it to you no other way.
Yeah.
And it's become such a default that a lot of times the truth will come out so cut quickly. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I've even took you out for I know it.
Man, who you
so
saying?
I just think that, you know, when we start to set standards like that and they become ingrained in us, then those standards for me are things that we don't have to think about. They are default.
They're default.
It's default. Yeah. It's just like when I get in the truck and I turn it on, unless you done been in my car. When I get in the truck, the seats immediately go into the setting of which is most comfortable for me.
Yes, it does.
It's the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it's the standard.
It is the standard.
Default.
It's the default. But if somebody else has been in my car, you know what I'm saying? That's but
y'all think about a default that y'all have. Like, what is the default?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think my defaults are all good. Like I don't think my defaults are all good. I don't want to talk about me, but I don't think my defaults
it's
are
our podcast. Why would you not? You want the people now to talk about their default?
I'm saying they ain't gotta mention it. I'm saying think about it. Because I ain't gonna ask them to do nothing I ain't want to do.
I feel like okay.
Well, I'm just saying
you can list your default mechanisms in the thing. Like for me, I like one of mine, it's not a good default, but I know that it's there. If I've had a long day, hard day, you know, or like a lot has went on, I tend to go to eat something that's crunchy, typically like popcorn, right? Because I've been sober from eating gummy candies for about 5 months now, so maybe a little longer. But it used to be candy. Like I would go to sour worms, gummy worms, Skittles.
She had them in the best.
M&Ms. Like I mean, I had candy stashed everywhere you go, I got candy. But now, you know, since I'm not eating,
like
I'm sober. I'm for real sober off that gummy candy, man. The only thing I do like peppermints, you know what I'm saying, a little sugar-free gum or something like that now. You know,
maybe on a Sunday.
Try to keep my fresh breath or whatnot. But that candy had me in a stronghold. But you know, even still now, I'll try that. I'll try some frozen grapes. But like now my default, you know, for the crunchy stuff would be like I'll eat a whole bag of popcorn by myself. Like
we used to share.
I don't even want the kids to come in there talking about can they get a cup. I mean, it's real hard for you to pop a bag of popcorn and the whole house not smell it.
Exactly.
But you know what I'm saying? I try to eat it so fast that by the time they come, it's like, yeah, the bag empty now, man. It's gone. But for me, you know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, Michelle. I agree. That gum ain't gum.
What, that sugar free? I had them taste some of my gum because it's not, because you know, like the regular candy like gum has that the stuff in there that's not good for you. So I get the little gum that really don't hold together when you're chewing no more. Like it's really not real gum. You're right. But anyway, now my default is I eat popcorn. Like I typically need to eat something crunchy when I'm feeling some type of way. And you might not notice that about yourself. Like some people, when they done had a long day, they go and they get a tub of ice cream and a pint is gone before, you know what I'm saying, before they can blink, you know, or it might be cookies, you know.
Right.
Some people, it may go to alcohol or smoking a pack of cigarettes. I don't know. But we all have, you know, defaults,
right.
that we've set, whether they're good or bad. I can just recognize, my good ones, and for sure I can recognize, my bad defaults as well, which, like I said, back in the day, it was candy.
It was candy, right.
But I can see the triggers when it happens. And you should be able to notice this about yourself the same way when you're trying to consistently have a habit in a particular area. Like, what's your ripple? Like, what knocks you off your game? It could have been, you had a bad day at work, but you've been wanting to, you've been working out every day after work, and then somebody, tee you off at work. And now I ain't going today. I'm going to this tub of ice cream type deal. Like, it's still a default, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joel. Like, default is setting goals that are materialistic and not purpose driven. I'll even go a step further and say my default is probably to succumb to the circumstances around me, or to blend into the circumstances around me versus pressing on. Like, if something gets challenging or the market changes or something like that, and I'm gonna be like, oh well, everybody else is, kind of it's affecting everybody. It ain't no big deal. I ain't really tripping. And then it's a good chance I'm gonna lower the standard, because that's what everybody else, that's kind of how it's looking around the market, versus saying, nope, I'm going to keep pressing, I'm gonna dig in, and I'm gonna get what we set out to do. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna hold my standard. Or whatnot. That's a default of mine.
Yeah.
That's a real default. When I think about when I get in the crunch, that's a real default. How does my body respond? Like, what is my brain thinking? You know what I mean? And if everybody around me is winning, then it's a good chance that I'm gonna be like, hey, I got to win. But if everybody around me is like just fluttering or just treading water, then there's a good chance I may do the same.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to, like, do that type of reflection or, self-assessment to figure out, like, in what areas am I fading to the black, and then why? Because there's always, something that's triggering that, and that's whether, some people fade to the black, like when they've accomplished a lot. They like, hey, I don't want to outshine, this person or that person. So, let me fade to the black. Or other people is like, well, let me just disappear because I'm not doing as well as I thought I should, or, whatever the case may be. But you have to be able to ask yourself those questions, like, what are my triggers, and what's causing me to, to do that. For, me and my candy addiction, it was, as soon as I get stressed about something, or, something ain't going my way, I've, maybe my day wasn't the best type of day, or just a lot on my plate. And the next thing you know, I done ran through, 2 packs of sour straws. I'm like, what?
Right.
Instead of, I needed to ask myself the question, like, how did I get here? Like what caused me to have this particular type of, reaction? Because it's really not that I need the candy. It's really that, I need to figure out what triggered, the thought process, for that. And most of the time we don't even dig that deep. We just want to go
and satisfy.
Right to the thing that, that satisfies that piece. And the next thing you know, I'm high off the candy and I'll figure it out again. I'll figure it out tomorrow. And that's why I had 47 cavities, because I'm out here, eating candy every time I'm ready to chew somebody's head off. I've had a lot of cavities in my lifetime, man, for real, like a lot. And that, I think, when that light bulb went off, I was like, man, I'm addicted to candy. I was ashamed to say it, for a second. I'm like, man, it can't be that bad. But them first couple of months,
it was
rough out here. I wanted to punch through a wall because I couldn't have that candy, man.
I believe
but I'm just thinking, like, what else, like, what are you using? Like, what are you using that puts you in that, in that same headspace?
Because it becomes a cycle.
Yeah.
It really becomes a cycle. If you get mad and then you respond the same way, and it's a negative way or something like that, you withdraw, you shut down, or whatever it is.
And completely take you off your path. That's why you can't have goals. That's why you have to have a standard, Now my standard is, hey, your teeth can't handle that, and you shouldn't be out here eating candy to that, to that degree anyway. It's unhealthy for you. Stop it. I had to set a new standard that my body deserves to be treated better than that.
I'm with you. AB, I was counting. I'm like, I'm gonna have to ask a dentist. Like,
I don't know if we have 40 teeth, but I do know that I had the same. I've had to have multiple cavities filled on the same
like,
tooth.
Can you get multiple on one tooth? That's what I wasn't sure about.
Man, since I've been like, I want to say maybe like 12 or 13, I've been getting cavities filled almost every year, and I'm 38.
Wow,
I'm not playing. Now, my last visit, they was like, "Man, you doing good. Everything is good." I was like, "I know what to do, because I ain't been on candy for almost 6 months."
I think we only have 32 teeth, though.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I got you. I understand. I'm just saying.
In my lifetime, I done had, I don't know how many cavities filled on both.
You had a cavity in your filling.
Man, like it was just, I'm telling you. I'm not joking when I say I have the number I know for sure is like, for sure is over 25. I exaggerated on the 40 something, but it's over 25 cavities for certain. Yeah. And then I started counting them when I had to pay for them, because my mom and them was already paid for cavities when I was, in my teenage years. Then I become an adult, and now I'm having to drop 200, 300, whatever to get these cavities filled, all because I can't set better standards for myself.
And you ain't want to get the little silver thing in there. Like you wanted to get the stuff that matches.
I'm just saying that no standards and low standards cost you something.
No standards and low standards cost you something.
They cost you something.
A goals that's set by anything other than you. Goals, period.
I was wanting to set goals, and I started, once I heard this guy, speak to it that way, to say, don't set goals, set standards and expectations. It really made me realize that I'm a tough chaser when I got a goal that I want to hit. But I don't get to chase as hard, I'm in a self-reflective, season right now, trying to figure out, okay, what's the next journey or move or whatever that I want to take. And, the thing I keep asking myself is, like Joel said, where's the motivation? And I'm like, I'm not necessarily motivated to go in any direction, because at this particular point, I want it to be purpose driven, which it needs to, that has to be connected to standards, right? Morals and values, and expectations.
It ain't where the money is.
No, I'm not saying what arena can I make the most money. Right. Praise God. That is not a question, that I have to ask right now. I want to ask myself, what I'm saying? Again, what am I here for? Who am I set to serve? And then how am I going to serve them? And then my standards are going to show me how to serve them well, and consistently, instead of, this season, this going to be it. And then once I knock that out of the park, now I got to start all over again. Right. I don't want to start all over again in standards. I want my standard to be set, and then I work in that direction, consistently, from here until eternity. I don't want to, I don't want that to be something that's new for me. So that's the, the challenging part for all of us, is we have to figure out, what standards can we set for ourselves that stand, the test of time. Because a goal, that's gonna have to change.
It's gonna, it's gonna change. It is, man. I feel like I've just been, really bamboozled, like for real, because I've always but I see how it doesn't serve me now, but it's like I've always just set the goal. And if my goal was just to be better than the next person, then I'd reached it. Right. Which even in school, right? I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't the lowest person in the class, but I didn't necessarily have to be the highest person in the class. I probably had potential to be pretty high, but I was like, I graduated in top 25 of my class. I graduated with honors or whatever. Now, let me say this before Crystal does. We probably only had 78 people in the class. I
was not gonna say a word.
We only,
because I'm quite fond of, some of your classmates, and I know when I do some Hazelhurst jabs in the private, but I'm not gonna, I ain't gonna publicly jab y'all like that, because when we get to the 20th class reunion, I want them to welcome me in with open arms.
I think they gonna do that. They'll do that.
So to all the Hazelhurst High folk out there, class of 2003, I love y'all just the same, all 10 of y'all.
Yeah. So, but but I never really pushed myself, like academically. I never really challenged myself like that academically. But it was because, hey, I ain't the lowest in the class. Yeah. And I ain't got to be the highest in the class. So, or it should have just been, hey, I have a standard of studying every day, or reading this material every day, or just.
So what made that your default then? Just
Probably because
Just
that's what
cruising
that was
through.
probably because that was what was acceptable to my folks. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
just, you know, it was just one of them things where it was like, okay, well, look, yeah, if you maintain a C plus B minus, I was straight.
Yeah.
It ain't much that, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no D, it ain't no L. I don't have to have an A. A is good, you know what I mean? But A plus, A minus, I ain't tripping. I ain't gonna be on punishment if I didn't get an A.
Well, I mean, how I don't know, is this some form of bribery or what? But my folks used to pay us for grades. So we would get I can't remember what it was. My mom was on here, but I think we would get like maybe $20 for an A.
Oh, y'all were rich.
$10 for a B, and I don't think you got anything for C's. It was something like that.
Man.
And I don't necessarily. I had always, you know, wanted to get A's. You know what I'm saying, and I was capable of doing it. You know, so obviously there was an external motivator,
Right?
you know
Right,
what
but
I'm
it
saying,
was, you know.
to get the grades. But I will say that what ended up happening was it eventually became a default, you know, for me to just
you hung
perform
around. You
well.
had a lot of smart friends. Like you were in the gifted class. Y'all stayed.
I
in
did,
the
but
same
it
class.
wasn't that I was trying to compete with those people, though.
And see,
you
that's
know
where
what I'm
I was
saying?
at. Yeah.
And that's you know, yep. And Jaleesa said we would get $100 for all A's.
They had that bread.
Yep, we used to get $100 if we made all A's.
PlayStation.
And I think for me, it was important, you know what I'm saying, if I got the all A's. But if I didn't get all A's and fell short for a B or something like that, then it wasn't like I was devastated, you know, or nothing like that. It was just like, hey, that class was tough. You know, I didn't get the A. But like I said, I think over time it did become, you know, somewhat of a default for me to just, you know, be such a way. Like, and I've told you, like, I graduated, you know, number 4 in my high school class, and it was, I think, 300 and something of us.
Right.
And I didn't even know. I did not even know that I was number 4 in my class. Like, I mean, these folks are competing for number 1, 2, and 3 and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I literally, when the lady told me in the counselor's office, I was like, you sure it's me?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But it was because even then, you know what I'm saying, I just had this default mechanism of just do the best I can.
And here's the different perspective. When they gave me my honor cord, I hid it because I was like, I don't know if they gonna be looking for it. Maybe they made a mistake. But if they don't, then I'm just whipping that sucker out on graduation day and I'll put it around my neck, man. That's real talk. Like I was, you know. But another thing that I was thinking of when you said that, like, right, man, I can think of, you know, I think one of my defaults is not to necessarily work hard for everything.
Oh yeah, that's a default.
It was one of them things where it's like I just need to get to know the right people. Or what is the cheat code?
I was just gonna say we said one of your defaults earlier today.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it. It's like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Right.
And that's been, you know what I'm saying, like for us, that's been a, you know,
that's been a thing. Like I'm trying to undo that.
Thorn,
you know,
you know what I'm saying? You're like,
that.
hold on, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to cheat on the test to pass.
Yeah,
you really can't study.
Yeah, just study.
Like,
but but you want to play PlayStation, you know what I'm saying, for a little bit to go outside and play for longer than you, because you know Tiffany them got the answers over there. Then you know, like, oh, okay, bet. Then I'll lean more to that than I would myself. And I've seen that in other arenas versus, you know, like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you know what? Let me get an opportunity to meet XYZ, or you know, let me get in the room with these individuals versus saying, okay, well, what gift do I have that's gonna make room for me to get in those rooms?
Oh, right? Hey, forget the room. It's just, hey, what gifts do you have, and how can I, you know what I'm saying? How can I use them, you know, to serve other people? It's just having the you know, the standard, and then the expectation of, you know, I am good enough just being me, you know what I'm saying, just being who I am, and letting those things lead you, you know, and guide you versus you know, trying to, you know, force place, you know, how you get there. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask y'all. Let me ask the individuals that's watching. If you guys didn't study for a test, would you entertain the thought of cheating on the test, or would you just take your lick and say, man, look, I didn't study, I didn't do the work, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do, or you know, I'm gonna get whatever grade I'm gonna make? You know, would you try to cheat, or would you just say, hey, I'm going to, if you would cheat, put a 1 in the chat. If you would just would just take your lick and say, okay, whatever I make is what I make, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to know. I'll be that person that's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to, you know, I'm trying to change this thought, but I'm saying I'd be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let me see. I'm asking around before class, like, hey, did you study? Did you study? Did you study? Did you study?
All your beautiful listeners here say that they would just take their
They
lick
just
and
take their lick. Okay,
and not cheat on the test.
Maybe everybody don't, wasn't prepared. No need to hide it.
Amen.
Depends on who in the class. But that's what I'm saying. Shit. I'm asking who in the class, like who? Hey, did you study? Did you study? I'm trying to purposefully sit by that individual or something to be like, man, what you think? Did y'all take the test before? I'm talking to the classes before.
That boy say this how I got through chemistry. Joel, before I was saved. That's how I got through physics. No lie. A whole toilet paper.
He said, I'm a pilot, not a chemist.
With the
hey,
with the answer to the test on it.
Again, that was after I cheated and got caught and said, okay, so you got caught. So you had an outside influence that helped.
Bruh, outside influences don't stop somebody that have a default mechanism of if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You just cheat again in the next time and say, I hope I don't get caught. That's
try to
all.
skim the book 5 minutes before. I mean, yeah, I definitely have crammed a time or so, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, I'm just thinking, like that could be a default.
Absolutely, that could be a default. And those are the kind, that don't serve us well. That's all I'm saying is like when we identify those ones, instead of trying to force feed those, and continuing to make the ones that don't work for us, continue to serve us, we should uproot those. You know what I'm saying? We should be honest with ourselves and say, man, you know what? This done happened 11 times.
That ain't it.
It ain't serving me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when do you throw it back into the sea and say, I don't want this fish?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. This ain't the one.
Yeah.
Let me go looking for something else that serves me better. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I just don't think that, life has to beat us up that many times for us to realize, that there are certain, like, why did I have to have 33 cavities before I realized that candy wasn't serving me well? Now here I am. I'm rolling up on another birthday and I'm like, man, I'm about to be 40 and I keep doing this to my teeth and they gonna start falling out. Why do I have to go to that level of extreme? Why can't I just set a new default because it's the right thing to do? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have false teeth at 45.
I don't want you to have them.
You know what I'm saying? No. But at the rate that I was going, on the right side of my mouth, my teeth just throbbing. Hot, cold sensitivity, all kinds of stuff going on over here. The lady talking about, well, you might have to have a root canal and all of this. All of a sudden, I stopped eating candy. Ain't had no more hot, cold sensitivity on there. The folks had me on Sensodyne at 35.
That is in the.
I should not be. I should not be brushing with Sensodyne at 35. But you know why I was brushing with Sensodyne at 35? Because I had a default mechanism that said I could eat candy whenever I want to, regardless of the consequences. It was stupid.
Wow. And you knew it was consequences.
And I knew it was stupid, and I knew the consequences of it, and I kept doing it. That's the kind of stuff that we need to check ourselves on. It's like we all have them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we all have those particular areas. We just got to be honest with ourselves when they come up, and then be adult enough to do the work to get ourselves out of those spaces. And here it is now. 5 months later, I'm talking about I can drink hot, I can drink cold, I can brush my teeth hard on this side if I want to, and don't feel no different.
Yeah.
I could barely floss on that side. It was hurting so bad sometimes. But because I wanted to eat candy.
Yeah. That was the price you was paying.
35 on Sensodyne.
So it's some other prices that we
pay. It was on track to be a whole full dental set at 45.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I got to be holding my teeth in a cup and I ain't even hit 50 yet. No. Because I love candy that much.
I'd have got the ones that screw in.
I'm just saying, sir, that part, because I'm your wife, doesn't seem all that appetizing. But I'm saying it could look that same way when the standard is if I ain't cheating, I ain't trying.
Yeah.
That's my default to the teeth.
That's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
That's an ugly look.
You know what I'm saying? We all got something. I'm just saying, whatever that thing is, once we discover it, once we do enough self-assessment, then we got to be adult enough to change it and replace those things with high standards and high expectations for ourselves. That doesn't include any external motivators. That doesn't include any goals that we need to set for the quarter. It's just, this is who I am. This is what I do continuously.
Yeah. So regardless of what the market says,
how the wind is blowing.
Yeah. So you didn't feel the urge to eat candy after the dentist was like, oh, you looking good now.
Absolutely.
But you restrained. So you can feel the urge. It ain't that you get rid of the urge.
Absolutely. I can still, you know what I'm saying? I can still say, man, I really could, because every time we go to the to the little theater room, we used to have the whole wall behind us. It looked like it was Sam's Club up in there.
You, the big container. M&M,
Sam's Club right behind my head, full of any kind of candy.
Twizzlers.
It was like Willy Wonka's.
Yeah,
chocolate factory up in there. We had all the candies.
Now it's looking like the corner store that then went out of business in your neighborhood.
I'm talking about the wall is blank. And so, every time I go in there to watch a movie, I'm like, man, I don't even really want to watch no movie. Because I can't eat no candy. Or, sometimes I feel some type of way because I used to eat popcorn with peanut M&M. Now I just gotta eat regular popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Or white chocolate covered popcorn. Oh my Lord. I had ate so much of them. At one point in time, I just knew my teeth, my back tooth was just gonna fall out. I said, I'm gonna crunch on one of these popcorns with this chocolate on here. And it would physically hurt. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, man. We will do that to ourselves. We will know that we entered into the storm and we'll go anyway because we ain't got no good standards and expectations set for ourselves.
Dang.
We know. You know the outcome. You know what I'm saying? When you lie about something you're supposed to lie about, you know what the outcome is about to be. But you choose to, go in that direction anyway. Because we've now made it, self-soothing to receive those reactions from doing the bad thing. Right. Like we know it's coming, so we just brace ourselves for that because it's just more comfortable for us to do those things. Instead of changing, our default. But I ain't talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Jaleesa said because our theater room is so
empty now.
Empty,
it didn't feel with like blankets or something on there.
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
What it is.
But hey, it's serving me well, and I'm gonna be 40 with all of my teeth. Okay, that's what I'm gonna be. And I'm happy about it. Now, you can eat the candy however you want to eat the candy, but as long as you don't bring it in here, I'll say this part and then we can go. What really helped me, like Joel was talking about how you do it without the external motivators. This is what externally motivated me. When I took all of them sour worms, and I had the big bag of the white and red gummy bears, whatever that version is. Jaleesa,
the Harbor.
I don't know. It's the good gummy bears, the good expensive ones. I had them in there. I had some sour straws, a whole pack of sour straws in there. It's like 15, packs in the pack. It was like I could sell candy.
Yeah.
So I had all of this gummy like candies and some M&Ms, stuff like that. I left the M&Ms in there because Lamorne liked to eat them, and he wasn't on this journey. I took these things outside to the fire pit back in the back of our property back there by the swamp. Put them in the fire pit. Lit them on fire. To this day, them gummy worms and them sour straws have yet to burn or melt. Put a match to them, man.
And they wouldn't melt.
Came back in the house.
They were like
got the lighter thing. It just kept. I'm talking about lighting and light. I was out there sweating.
It was like that McDonald's
for over an hour. And they never melted. If y'all think I'm playing a game,
and this was in the middle of the night. Like it was 11 o'clock. She was on a call, got up, and went outside
and set this candy on fire. The only thing that burned was the cardboard box and the plastic that was around the candy. The candy itself was still in the fire pit the next day. I'm talking about and I come back in the house, I tell Lamorne about it, and this is what this man says to me. You must don't know how to light a fire. I said, Lamorne, I am not an idiot.
I said, she don't know how to build a fire, man.
I know how to light stuff on fire. He's like, well, maybe the fire wasn't hot enough. No, this is the foolishness that I was putting into my body and ruining my teeth with. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we just think about, the bad habits that we have for ourselves, whether it's not being truthful, whether it's not being consistent in a particular area, whether it's eating bad stuff or whatever the case may be, we really have to step back and ask ourselves, what is this really doing to us?
Yeah.
And when I put that lighter to that thing, and I'm talking about no flames whatsoever, it was like, I'm unbothered, baby. Keep lighting if you want to. I'm talking about not even melted a little. The only thing I'm telling you, it didn't change form. I even picked up one of the sour straws and was like, well, let me just hang the sour straw and I'm going to put the little lighter up to it and see if it'll just burn. Nothing. Like the form of the sour straws and them gummy bears did not change.
Didn't change at all.
And the only thing I could think about is I done ate a whole bunch of gummy bears in my life. I wonder if some of them things still stuck in my stomach somewhere, because how is it that fire?
It's a whole lining in there.
I believe the lining of my stomach must be made out of gummy bears, because how in the world?
The Gummy Bear Museum.
Did I just like The whole bag. When I tell you this bag was brand new, brand new bag. And a whole brand new box. And the only thing that melted was the plastic and the cardboard box and the plastic that was around the gummy bears. And then the fire just went away. Like it didn't just keep, you know how you set a fire and like the blaze kind of nothing. I was done. So I just asked, as a closer, hey, you may need to self-assess a little bit and find out, you know what I'm saying? How is it serving you to have low, low standards, no standards, these ever dissolving goals, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is it really serving you, and then what is it that you're going to do, to be able to set higher standards for yourself and then, stick to them? Do you have a group of accountability partners that you could check in with and say, hey guys, man, I've been having a day. I'm about to go in on this pint of ice cream, man. Come help your girl out. That girl say my new name is Gummy Bear. I have been redeemed. You can call me anything else other than that. But ask yourself, man, how are you going to be able to set higher standards and expectations for yourselves? And then, what are you going to do, when you're tempted to go in a different direction? And even if, you fall off the bandwagon once or twice or whatever, whoop-de-doo. The goal and objective is to figure out how you can consistently move, in a path or a direction. It's really is nowhere near are we, expecting to be perfectionists, in whatever it is that we do. Our goal and objective is to make progress, and for me, after all them years of eating candy, I can tell you one thing for certain. I done made some progress. Because this is the longest window of time in my life.
She won't even eat ice cream with candy in it, like Snickers ice cream. That was her favorite.
But they stopped. In my defense, in integrity, they stopped making Snickers ice cream. Rest in peace.
That's real integrity.
Rest in peace. They stopped. They stopped making Snickers ice cream at Baskin Robbins. But they do still have Reese's peanut butter cup. Amen. My real vice is the gummy candy. Like I can, what I'm saying? I feel like I can dip off into, but that gummy candy, do not bring that near me. Don't do it. Please. Not in this season. All right, man.
Hey.
I think I'm oh man. He said he got to tell his wife about the ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Bring it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's David for you. She said, speaking of ice cream, the birthday girl is ready to eat.
Yes, it is.
All right. So speaking of all of the bad habits and all of that good stuff, we're going to have some birthday cake and ice cream. My sister's turning 30 now for the 4th time, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to my sister. We celebrated earlier very well over a nice feast of seafood.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I did a very beautiful spread of a seafood medley.
We'll drop a pic or video of it later. We'll see.
Yeah. So happy birthday to Jaleesa. She said no on 34th. All right. Well, happy 34th birthday to Jaleesa.
Y'all drop a happy birthday for Jay Ray.
Y'all tell her happy birthday before y'all leave out. We're gonna go down and sing happy birthday and have a little nothing but cakes to
red velvet
to celebrate her birthday. So thank you guys again for tuning in. If you have any tips on how we can travel with just a carry-on bag, please be sure to comment and let us know. Shoot us a message just to let us know how we can travel too without checking a bag. It would be most helpful. In addition to, I challenge you to figure out new standards and new expectations for yourselves. Let's throw goals out of the window and let's just go in the pursuit of purpose and passion.
Let's do it
and lock that down. So thank you guys for joining us for yet another episode of Love and Business, and we will see you next week.
Yep. And since we're about to eat cake and ice cream, we probably won't get that race tonight.
So. Look at there.
Oh, well, I'm gonna let it be on your turn. I was trying to give you a way out. All right. I was trying to give you a way out.
Why don't you what's up? Eat your slice of cake and ice cream and then meet me out?
Bet. Call it what you want. Call it what you want. I stay ready, so I don't have to get ready.
He said, Joel said, race tomorrow. I want to see it. Hey, bro. Maybe we'll go live and do a race for y'all, man.
Man, listen.
We'll see. Anyway,
we know the result.
We out of here, man. We gone.
Holla.